And that's what I did. And I was on a plane the next morning. And I was on my way to Treatment Solutions down in South Florida. I was re-detoxed down there the first time around because I was still so sick from it. After detox, I was put into a long-term program. I believe I can't remember exactly, but I believe it was about 2 months. I was down in Florida. And it opened my eyes. For the first time in my life, I looked at myself. I was very quick in life to blame other people. I always hung out with a bunch of people in the neighborhood. And my whole goal in life is to fit in. I always felt like I didn't fit in. So whatever anyone else was doing, I would do. If someone else my age or older was drinking and I thought it was cool, guess what? I was drinking. If I was smoking, I was smoking. If I was sniffing, I was sniffing. Like, whatever it was in life to fit in, I would do it. Like, I cut my hair the same way as you because I thought it was cool and I'd be cool. And that's what I did forever. My mother said, like, I went through high school, I did well in school. I went to college, didn't work out so well because of my addiction. My addiction had taken over by the age of 18, and I wasn't interested in going to class anymore. It was more about getting high and where can I get my next fix. After a year of college, I had dropped out, and I was working, and all I was doing was working to support my habit. Back to Florida, 60 days down there, and the people told me I had to take a look at myself, and here are these steps, and all this overwhelming stuff, and I was so overwhelmed with everything that was going on in my life. I just gave it up. I just said, okay, what do I have to do? The only thing that I held on to down there that I wouldn't share with a counselor, I wouldn't share with anyone, was that I was an addict. And I was more than welcome to say that I was an addict, but I refused to say I was an alcoholic, because I wasn't in my mind at the time. From the first time when I left, I went to a halfway house. Excuse me, the same thing. I went through that program and I graduated. And I never told a counselor or another roommate or anybody because I knew it was the wrong thing, but I never admitted that I was an alcoholic. I was going out when I graduated that halfway house and I was going to test the waters. I was going to go out and drink, but I wasn't getting high, I swear. 6 days after I graduated that halfway house, it was November 4th I graduated, November 10th was my birthday. I went out, I saw a couple guys down at the bar, and said I can go in and have a couple beers with my buddies from work. I went in, I think I had 2 beers. Within an hour and a half I was sniffing OxyContin in my buddy's bathroom, and the run was on. I had been sober for about 6 months, and I had learned nothing, because everything everyone was telling me, I wasn't listening. I wasn't open to anything anyone said because I didn't want it. And that was the biggest thing. I didn't want it because I wanted to drink. I thought I was normal. I remember sitting at family parties over Christmas and different holidays, and like my aunts, uncles, cousins saying, "So Matt, are you gonna ever be able to drink again? Like, how's this working? How's this whole thing going?" Because no one in my family was exposed to this. I was like, yeah, I think I'll be able to drink. Why not? Like, give it a little time. Let me just clean up my act a little bit. I'll be fine. It doesn't work like that. After that first relapse, I went out there for about 5 months, and someone just said, like, "How long did you go out there for at dinner tonight?" And I said, "About 5 months." And they were like, "Damn, that was a long drink." And yeah, 5 months is a long time, because you know what? My life was starting to get better at that point, and it spiraled out of control so quickly. So quickly I lost everything that I gained back over that 8 months. My family was gone again. My job hated me. Friends, I didn't have any. I had drug buddies. That's what I had. I didn't have friends. I didn't have anyone calling to see how I was doing when I was sober, but they called me to see if I had $40 for them. That's what I had in my life, and that's all I had, was friends that were getting high with me. Today, I don't know where they are, because I've removed myself from that. Fast forward to April 2008, I was home working midnights, living at my mother's house, living cozy, living life, getting high, spending my whole check. And woke up to my little brother, who was 4 years younger than me. He was home from college, and it was opening day of the Red Sox. And I woke up to watch the Red Sox game. I asked my brother why he was home. He said, "Oh, I had a doctor's appointment." I said, "Okay, sounds good." Watch the Sox hang out. All of a sudden, my mother came around the corner, and pretty much knew something was up, And both of them had told me, "Listen, you have a problem. You need help again." And the first people that I turned to was Treatment Solutions, because I didn't know anything else. I was scared, but I was happy that someone called me out on my stuff. I was so relieved that someone else said, "You need to go get help," and I was totally welcome to it. I just couldn't admit to my mother that I was using again, even though she knew. I was so ashamed of what I had done that I couldn't go back and tell her that I had messed up and I needed help again. It was finally when she told me I needed help that I was so happy about it. I called you guys. I called Jim and Mike, and once again I was back on my way to Florida. This time in Florida, I went to the same place, same detox, same treatment center, and when I walked in, I was like, "Oh yeah, I want so-and-so as my counselor. I really liked him last time." Like, I'm picking and choosing, like. And this other counselor was like, "Time out. What'd you do last time? Why are you here again?" I was like, "Well, I got high again." She was like, "Maybe it didn't work. And, you're gonna come with me." And she was tough on me, And I thank her so much for that, because she made me look at myself. She had me crying like a little baby, I think, like within the first 12 minutes of me being in that treatment center. She broke me down, and that's what I needed. The first time I was down there, my grandfather had passed away while I was down at Treatment Solutions, and I never dealt with it. I never really, I don't know, everything was just going on so crazy in my life that I never dealt with his death, and she broke it down on me. I swear, I thought she had it out for me. I was like, I can't believe her, she's picking on me. I'd go back to the house at night and just badmouth her. I hated her for the first 2 weeks I was there. But, finally, she had me looking at myself and admitting what I really was. I was an alcoholic and an addict, and I couldn't do it if I wanted my life to get better. So, from there, I was there, I want to say another 2 months. I think it was close to 2 months I was down there again. My job was not happy with me that I was back down there. They contacted me and asked me if I liked my job. I told them I loved it. The guy said, "That's great, you're going to love the halfway house we're sending you to." And that was it. I was on my way to a halfway house. But during that time when I was in Florida, this counselor kept telling me I had a lot of problems, I had a lot of issues I needed to work out with my family. And I had to look at these things. And I was like, yeah, I'll deal with that when I get home. That's fine. My parents are 1,000, 1,500 miles away, whatever it is. And she was like, "No, they're coming." I was like, "No, they're not." And she was like, "No, they're on a plane. The tickets are already booked. Your parents are on their way." And I was like, "Okay." I didn't know what to expect. And it was the best thing in the world, because I got to clear the air with a facilitator in the room. I got to say what I wanted. My mother got to say what she wanted, and my brother was there with my mother. And it was just the greatest thing, because like my mother said, she went to her first Alcoholics Anonymous meeting down in Florida with me. I got a pass to bring my mother and my brother down to a meeting. And I think it really opened their eyes, and it really opened my eyes what I was doing to my family by using. It was an amazing experience, and I thought it was over at that. My mother and brother hopped on a plane and headed home. My counselor called me in the next day and asked me how I went. I said, "I think it went pretty well. I think I got a lot off my chest. I think my mother aired some things out that she needed to say, and my brother also." She goes, "That's great. Your father's on his way down next week." I was like, "Oh God, I can't deal with this." And next week there my father was, and I had to deal with it all over again. And I've been told I have the same personality as my father, and yes, I do. I'm stubborn. And I thought it was going to be like a fist fight in this room. No, don't bring him down. It's going to be bad. And we both cried, because like what I had done to him, and like he felt like he had failed me, and like it wasn't that. It was just, it was so good to have him in that room. It's built our relationship since then. You know, I didn't have a good relationship, I don't think, with my father. And today it's amazing. Like my mother said, like less than 2 months from now, I'm going to be in Italy with my father again. Like I never thought that would happen. Like I couldn't spend like 20 minutes in a room with him without starting a fight. You know, now we can go on trips like to Europe together. Like that's amazing to me. You know, after that, I really took a look at myself this time. You know, and that's what I needed to do. I needed to get rid of the friends at home. I needed to get away from all that stuff. And that's what I did down in Florida. I shed a lot of things. I lost contact with all those people because I didn't want to go back out and use again. I went into a halfway house. I graduated that halfway house. And from there on, I went on to a sober house. After that sober house, I moved into an apartment with another sober person. Like I kept this going and going and going. And once I graduated that halfway house, I moved into the sober house, and it wasn't going so great. There was 4 guys and 4 other guys with me, and I couldn't really stand a couple of them. And I called my sponsor. I'm like, listen, I'm out of here. I'm going home. He's like, why are you going home? I was like, because I don't like these people. He's like, you're taking the easy way out again, kid. Why don't you take the high road this time? Give it a year. Get your year medallion and reevaluate your situation. And I was told, listen to your sponsor, because you know what? He has experience. He knows what he's talking about. And I did. I listened to him, and I got that year. And after that year, I reevaluated, and I said, all right, I won't go home, but you know what? I'm going to move in with another sober buddy. And it was like the best year of my life after that. I lived with him for 9-10 months, and circumstances got us kicked out of the apartment building. They sold the building, what have you. But it was amazing. Like my journey has been unbelievable. And it's all because I started off right. You know, I had an opportunity to go to a detox for 5 days and go right back to work. I know what I would have done if I went to a 5-day detox and went back to work when I had relapsed. I would have used because I was sick. I know that because I was sick for like a month. I didn't eat solid food, I don't think, for about 3 weeks after detox. I had to be hooked up to IVs at one point because I was so dehydrated I couldn't even drink. You know, and if I was that sick at work, I know where I was going to go. I would have been right back to the guy, calling him and getting high again. You know, I'm so thankful that I had the opportunity to go to long-term treatment because it set me on the road to recovery. It's been an amazing ride. Mom, thank you. You know, did a great job up here. I know you were worried about it, but you were amazing. You're unbelievable. Thank you. You know, it's just been an amazing trip. I can't say anything else. You know, like I smile every time I think about where I've come from, where I am today. You know, it's just a blessing that I have like my family back in my life. I can be in my family's life. Like my mother said, like I have the best relationship I've ever had with my little brother. Like this was a kid that like wouldn't even look at me when I was getting high because he knew it. He just didn't want to rat me out to my parents. You know, and I put him through hell. I stole from him. I lied to him. I did everything to this poor kid. And today our relationship is unbelievable. You know, and that's from this program. You know, I can't thank this program enough for what I have today. It's amazing. You know, just puts a smile on my face. I'm going to stop talking now. Thank you very much.